you so much. We've seen some old friends, we're making some new friends. It is wonderful that you are here. Thank you. Thank you very much for caring about the New Jersey Highlands. I wanted to recognize we have a couple of our trustees who are here. And if they're brave, they'll stick their hand up and identify themselves. But there's Sandy in the back, and Jim over here, and Barbara, and John. And so thank you very much. Sandy's hiding. And our staff are here as well. Most particularly my colleague, Elliott Ruga, who is our policy director and communications director. Don't give him a big head. Don't applaud him. And Dylan, who does all our social media for all those people who have said, what a fantastic newsletter. He's the man. Where is Ian? There is Ian over here. Ian does all kinds of things. He's our policy assistant, he works with Elliott, he does all the GIS in our office, he does all the green infrastructure work, and what am I forgetting? He does a whole bunch of different things. Lauren, are you still here? Yeah. There she is over there. There's Lauren, our development director, who also runs a program that is unparalleled in this state. She runs a program for nonprofit environmental development directors that she brings all these speakers in every month. And it is a fantastic service that we can be proud of, but she is totally, really responsible for. And Brielle is not here, but Jen is here. Where are you, Jen? Yes, she has to jump to be seen. Jen is our event coordinator, and she is a wizard at putting these things together. And we are extremely grateful for all her work. So, am I forgetting somebody? I don't think so. Just Brielle, who is in Florida. I also want to introduce a saint. There's no question that this describes her. And that is Donna Compton. Donna manages and pulls together the Jersey Highlands Art Show, which this year will be the 12th year. Not that she's run it for 12 years, but she's done it for at least 4, I think now. It must seem eternal. There is a show hanging right now at Farmstead in White Township that Donna pulled together. Everything you see on the walls here, Donna will say a couple of words in a minute, and the artist, one of the artists is here this evening who will be introduced to you. But my job is to reflect a little bit on what happened in 2024 and what we're looking forward to in 2025, and to introduce Elliott to you again, and he'll talk about the policy things that he's particularly been working on. And since you're all standing around, I have to do this fast. So, there will not be a test. Last year was an extraordinary year, actually, 2024. Most particularly in White Township, almost 5 years to the day, from May in 2019, when the first emails went around, to May of 2024, when the closing on nearly 600 acres of prime farmland in White Township went through with the state of New Jersey purchasing it. We stopped the biggest warehouse developer in the Lehigh Valley. It would not have happened without an amazing volunteer grassroots group, who I love our grassroots groups dearly, and there are several of them represented here this evening, but they all give themselves dreadful names. Anyway, in White Township, it was Citizens for Sustainable Development, and so they came to be known as CFSD. Everybody on that group worked. Everybody did something. They either raised money, or they ran events, or they did the social media, or the 84-year-old lady who walked all over a town and collected over 3,000 signatures. I mean, everybody did something, and they never gave up. David beat Goliath. It was an astonishing thing. And since his boss is here, I have to call out the director of the Highlands Council, Ben Spinelli, because his boss, Carl Richko, is here, then took Susan Payne, the soon to retire at that time director of the State Agricultural Development Committee, on a tour of some Highlands agricultural sites. And that was one, and he pointed out to her that really they should be preserving this. And she said, well, it's a no-brainer. It was $27 million later, but it was saved. We're extremely proud of that. But at the other end of the scale is work that Elliott did with the help of John Thurmay, who is here, in Parsippany. And I think, is Judy here? Yes, Judy Hernandez, who is on the council in Parsippany. But this was in front of the Land Use Board. I don't think they elect Judy close to the Land Use Board, I'm not sure. Anyways, it was on Watnong Mountain, and it was a small, relatively small piece of land, but it was some real original forest that was up there that was an unbelievable retaining walls were going to have to be built, all to build 2 humongous houses. And the Land Use Board wouldn't listen and wouldn't listen and wouldn't listen, and the group that came together there was incredibly frustrated until Elliott brought in John and Emil DeVito, who is the Director of Science for the New Jersey Conservation Foundation and other of our partners. And that was it. That was the end of it. They didn't even take the vote. They became clear there was only one person on the board who was going to vote for it after that night. And that was the end of it. So that was something very different from Citizens for Sustainable Development, but very important to that community. You know, I was saying to somebody earlier this evening, the New Jersey Highlands Coalition, 6 people plus our event coordinator, and our trustees cannot possibly cover 88 towns in the Highlands. So our community groups, our grassroots groups, are extremely important to us. And that's how we manage to cover things. And frankly, I know people think that land use boards are not supposed to be political, but I've been doing this for about 40 years, and of course it's political. Getting people to turn up at those meetings is one of the most important things you can do. Turn up, raise money, hire your experts, and we will provide you with the guidance. And I want to particularly call out some of those groups that we're working quite hard with right now, in addition to CFSD. They've all got those acronyms. Pew, that is the Phillipsburg Environmental Watch. CCOF in Frelinghuysen, which is the Concerned Citizens of Frelinghuysen. Well, Pew is fighting a warehouse right next to the Delaware River, right next to downtown, on a sort of landlocked piece surrounded by residential neighborhoods. I mean, it's an absolutely nutty proposal. CCOF is opposing a cannabis facility, a growing facility that is proposed right next to an elementary school on land that was owned by the town. There are consequences when towns do things like that, and the next election, somebody got in on a write-in because of that. And I was just, there's a couple here this evening, I was saying, you know, you really need to run for election. And I won't identify them, but the husband pointed at wife and said yes, because that's where you really make things change. MAPC, which is the Mendham Alliance for Preservation and Conservation. I think there's about to be a lawsuit there in Mendham Borough. We work very closely with them. Our favorite, SRD, Sparta Responsible Development, Barbara Gomes, she's a superstar, and Hardyston Responsible Development right there with her. So warehouses, 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 and they're still hanging in there. SRD has changed their community, and Barbara gets a little nervous about it sometimes, but I said, this is as successful as you can possibly get. Really, it is amazing. They have completely changed their town council. This is how you make things happen. So, kudos to SRD. Another great thing that happened last year was our 6th Northwest New Jersey Rivers Conference and our last Northwest New Jersey Rivers Conference, because this year it's going to become the North Jersey Rivers Conference. And it will expand. We'll still be doing it in Centenary. We'll expand it to a bunch of other watershed associations across northern New Jersey who will be working with forward to that. We'll have another great annual meeting. I don't know where this year, but I hope you will all come to it. The one we did at the Haggard Center and in the Frillinghausen Mansion last October was just wonderful. I don't think the chief is here, is he? No. But we received a phone call from Mikey, the Cara man. Chief Vincent Mann is one of our trustees. He's chief of the Turtle Clan. And his wife called us and said that the tribe had been approached by some of the fire companies that were fighting the Jennings Creek fire, which ended up burning about 5,500 acres in West Norfolk. Thank you very much. Dylan, you knew exactly what I was struggling for.
And across New York.
Yes, and into New York. Yeah, the fire didn't care whether it was in New Jersey or New York. But we put out an immediate appeal, and thanks to very generous people, we raised $21,000 to help get stuff that the firemen needed and that the neighbors needed. And if you were one of the people who was a donor, thank you from the bottom of everybody's heart. It was really important. In about a week. It took us a little longer than that to spend it though. I have to tell you, this has been the only time I will ever buy 2,100 cans of Red Bull. But that's what the firemen wanted, so we got it. Amongst other things, a whole lot of things, but we were able to really make a difference there. We are finally, we think, making progress on appointments to the Highlands Council. The Highlands Council has been struggling. It should have 15 council members. Right now it has 10. It's 3 of those several of them have been on there for more than 12 years. 3 of them have health issues. It can be hard. You have to have 8 positive votes to make anything happen. Never mind if there's a disagreement. So we have 2 good people, we think, in the running who are hopefully this spring, or maybe even sooner, this winter, will be appointed to the Highlands Council, which we're very excited about. And we have been working on a new strategic plan. Our strategic plan is a 5-year plan. We've had a wonderful consultant we've worked with. The trustees have worked hard on it. And I'm just going to share a couple of goals. Goal 1 is increase engagement in protecting the resources of the Highlands, especially its role in providing clean water. Well, that sounds like good. Okay. So we want to grow the coalition to include new partners. I have just been talking about how important our partners are to us and how they help us be successful, and we help them be successful. We want them to represent a broad variety of Highlands stakeholders. We want to increase the number of municipalities that are implementing Highlands Council policies that protect the Highlands environment. We want to have at least one advocate in every Highlands municipality who is actively working to protect the region and to help us achieve our shared goals. We want to develop and implement a vernal pool certification program. You have no idea how important vernal pools are in our environment. People just think just because the critters are this big that they're not important. They are extremely important. And the Highlands allows us to protect those vernal pools properly. But the DEP doesn't have enough staff, and they dropped the program and they stopped following the mapping. And thanks to some of our partners who were successful in collecting water quality data from streams, over 600 miles of streams were upgraded in the state of New Jersey to Category 1 about 18 months ago. And it was, of course, challenged by the developers because it was done using citizen science. And the Supreme Court upheld it, so now we're going to use citizen science to protect vernal pools. And we're, with our partners, working to develop an MOU with DEP on what that looks like and how that will work. Our second goal, advocate for environmental and climate mitigation practices that ensure clean water and a healthy environment for everyone. We are not all stupid. We all know that we live in a very challenging society, especially for some amongst us. And we want to make sure that people don't get left behind. We want to successfully advocate for legislation and policies that preserve the Highlands as a source of clean water, mature forests, and climate resilience for everyone in our state. We will support the Native American people of the Highlands in redressing the impact of environmental injustices on their land and on their health. We will support Highlands communities that have been historically overburdened by pollution in their efforts to restore and protect their town's drinking water, like Phillipsburg. We will increase engagement with and support from municipalities that rely on the Highlands for their drinking water, especially Newark, which has 5 reservoirs, is the largest property owner in the Highlands, manages 35,000 acres, and provides water to 21 other communities. The Highlands is extremely important. Jersey City owns 2 reservoirs and also sells their water to the communities around them. Northern New Jersey, over 70% of the residents of the state of New Jersey depend on the Highlands for their drinking water. So if anybody thinks, oh, it's just a little Highlands, it's just a little Highlands, only 16% of the state, it's not that big. It's of statewide importance, so just remember that. However, I will tell you that recently, and we do not begrudge this, but our funding has changed for us and for some other environmental organizations like us, because funding has shifted to issues around equity. And I understand why the Victoria Foundation decided, when the metrics around children graduating from school had not changed in 30 years, they had to do something different. The Fund for New Jersey, similarly. And the William Penn Foundation has shrunk its footprint. It's really going to focus now on Philadelphia and the counties in and around Philadelphia. The consequence for us is that we lose about $200,000 a year, which is a big chunk for an organization of our size. So an awful lot of what I do these days is knock on people's doors and come have a cup of coffee with them and pick their brain. And you know, I have been thrilled at how well it has been received. Somebody who was a $250 donor has become a $10,000 donor. Another person who was a $500 donor has become a $10,000 donor. A $50,000 grantee has become a $75,000 grantee. And this is how it works. It means you get in front of people, you look them in the eye, you tell them what you're doing, and you tell them why you hope that they will support us. Lauren has put together a fantastic and easy to follow little thing for you to take away with you, just giving you some great ideas about how you can support the New Jersey Highlands Coalition. I don't know if you want to say anything, dear, but otherwise she'll catch you on the way out and make sure that everybody takes one of these brochures away with them. It's just a very simple trifold, and take not just one, but take 3, because I'm sure there are people that you could share them with. Because you will be our missionaries, you will be the people who will be helping us make sure that the New Jersey Highlands Coalition doesn't miss a step as we protect the region we all love. So, other things that we're doing, Jen is putting together car tracks. We will have a spring car track in March. I'm not quite sure where it's taking you.
April 13th, highlighting the southern region of the Highlands.
Okay. And we do one in the fall. And for those of you who are not faint of heart, you will join me and going over the edge. We have joined with the Hackensack River Keeper, and we will be rappelling down the outside of a 21-story building that formerly known as the Meadowlands Hilton. I did it the first time last year, and I'm going to do it again this year. I did it with my youngest daughter, who became my favorite child. And her husband is doing it in her place this year. She's not afraid, but you know, we're spreading it around. But that is on May 31st, and you can sign up to do that online. I promise you, it is the best fun. And you are safer doing that than getting behind the wheel of your car. Certainly in Luton. We have a golf outing for those of you who prefer the more sort of sedate arts. But that is in Washington Township at Hawk Point in June.
Monday, June 16th.
There we go. We will have our annual meeting again in October. I don't know where we're doing it this year, but it will be fun. We will have the North New Jersey Rivers Conference probably in October with our new partners. And Elliott reminded me to remind everybody about the art shows that, thanks to Donna, we will be offering throughout the year. So, and you can support us by purchasing some of this beautiful art, because we get a bit of it, and you support the artists as well. So,
Julia mentioned the loss of funding from many of our traditional foundations. The William Penn Foundation really was the force behind the geographically largest restoration effort that was equal in size to the effort to restore the Chesapeake Bay area. In the Dutch, they did the Delaware watershed, and we were part of a cooperative working with almost 90 other organizations across 4 states in really this Herculean task over 8 years of coordinated project work that just suddenly came to an end, unfortunately, because William Penn's focus changed. We're also going to be watching the impact of federal rollbacks on environmental water quality regulations and federal support for programs. Unfortunately, in New Jersey, because we're so densely populated, we have to stay ahead of what the federal government has always done to clean up our water, clean up our land, and they actually look to us as a model. So we've adopted our own, many of our own regulations. We don't rely on the federal government as much as other states. But there will be weak areas that we're going to have to be careful about and shore up. We are very much involved in protecting the mature forests of the Highlands. And most people don't know about it, but just beginning here in the town of Boonton at Sheep Hill is the southeastern edge of a 340 square mile mature forest that goes all the way up to New York State. Actually, the critters that live there don't recognize that boundary. It actually goes all the way up to the St. Lawrence River, and we're part of that forest. And right now, we don't really recognize it as such because it's state parks, state forests, wildlife management area, county parks. These divisions that the creatures that live there don't, except humans, don't see. They see it as one ecologically whole. And we're trying to promote that understanding of that forest. Meanwhile, the Division of Fish and Wildlife are out clear-cutting 10-acre swaths in the middle of this forest, introducing invasive species and increasing the deer population, which is going to have terrible consequences to the rest of this forest. And we actually have a video where we observe what's going on. If you go to our YouTube channel, you can see it so far. It's been there for 2 weeks. We have almost 3,000 views, which is pretty good for such a specialized topic. We work a lot, as Julia mentioned, with the turtle clan of the Ramapo Lenape, because they are a native cultural resource of the Highlands. We have a lot of respect for them, and we are doing much education initiatives to inform people about the continuing legacy of colonialism, which affects and impacts their people today. I mean, Jesus, they live on a Superfund site. Their people are still dying from unusual cancers. So we're helping their effort to relocate, hopefully to Tranquility nearby location up in that part of the woods. And in fact, the person behind the rebuilding of the Maxfield Firehouse is from, she's a professor of urban planning at the Weitzman School at the University of Pennsylvania. Their practicing wing called Penn Praxis actually designed the community for the Ramapo Lenape that is, has the least human footprint, is very ecologically sound and can be duplicated elsewhere. They've actually designed something which we're interested in pursuing.
We'll be coming to see you, Carl.
I thought so.
We're also working with helping them get federal recognition. The tribe is state recognized, but in the 90s when they attempted federal recognition, a casino owner who is currently the president of our country thought that they were going to build a casino that would compete with his properties in Atlantic City and lobby very stridently against their getting that federal recognition. And they have archaeological evidence today, which they didn't have then, which may give them, may change the picture, may give them that federal recognition, all the benefits that brings. We're also helping them identify their ceremonial stone landscapes, which are throughout our woods, which are actually the wayfinders and generations of left prayers in these lands, in these rock placements that have particular significance to the Ramapo. So we want to have them identified and get a categorical listing on the state and federal registers of historic places. And we're working with other organizations interested in helping the Ramapo find a relevant contemporary place in society, such as with the Clement Price Institute at Rutgers Newark, Passaic River Coalition, and others. We participate in conferences and other initiatives. One of the things I feel very strongly about, and in response to the loss of foundation support, is looking for other advocates to join us in our efforts to protect the Highlands. And something I've been recognized and I've been talking about is the artists who are who interpret the natural beauty of the Highlands, who are moved by the natural beauty of the Highlands, to come up with interpretations such as you see on these walls today, and we're in our yearly annual jury competition. Because, as I always say, beauty is worth fighting for, and these are the people who are willing to fight to maintain the beautiful landscapes of the Highlands. So we welcome you to join us and support us. So on that note, I'd like to bring up Donna, who can talk to us. She is our arts program curator.
There are two artists exhibiting here tonight. Jim Summers, these are his photographs. And one day, he was a good friend of mine. He photographed from Ringwood to Fairfield, where the Passaic River meets the Rockaway River, 2 bridges, and also in Denville along the Rockaway River between Denville and Boone. He was always there. And one day he called me and he says, "Where are you? What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, well, I'm on my way home from somewhere. I'm in a skirt and heels." And he goes, "Come on over to the woods where you can meet me. I'm photographing." I'm like, I'm already drenched and it's freezing cold, snowing, and so I said, all right, something told me to go. I went, I found him in the torn, I get out of my car, prancing through the snow, across the boulders and the logs and over the bridge, and there he is standing there. Just standing there on the bridge with his camera bag over there. I said, "Oh, are you finished photographing?" He goes, "No." I said, "What was going on?" He goes, "Well, sometimes I like to just sort of stand here and look around for, half an hour or an hour before I start to shoot, because I like to get a sense of the place." I'm like, "Well, that makes sense, but it's freezing out." But it was like it was a sunny day for him. Here I am shivering. And so these are his photos, and whenever I look at them now, I imagine him standing there and just staring and looking and trying to figure out what it is about each one of these places that is really special. And it's a great, profound experience. And the other art here is by Kim Parker, who's here. Kim Parker and her husband Felipe is here. And they curated this wall basically. And these are her paintings. She moved from New York City, where she painted florals in her Manhattan apartment for 3 million years. And then they decided, we're gonna move to Stockholm because they had some family history here in Stockholm, which is ground zero for the coalition's fight against logging mature forests. Now, did she know this? No. Did she know she was even moving to the Garden State? No. Did she know anything about the Highlands? No. And so, but now they are proud members of the Highlands Coalition. She entered her pieces for our annual jury exhibit last year, and here she is now. She's got a lot of florals and some abstracts, but lately she's been, since moving here, all she wants to do is paint. She's painted like 90 paintings in like 7 months. She's now painting these abstract snow scenes on branches. She just can't get enough. She can't stop. Poor Felipe, like, when's dinner? I love it. So anyway, they're here. They're really wonderful. She's painting fields of flowers now instead of a bouquet in her Manhattan apartment. And so they're really wonderful. So if you have any questions about her art, Kim, ask Kim. She can give her your website. And, okay, I'm almost finished here. On your way out, pick up a postcard. This was a postcard for our 11th annual Highlands Juried Art Exhibit. We have it every year. And if you go to the website, you can see all the art for all the shows since 2020. That's 5 years worth of lots of amazing Highlands art. And if you know anybody who would like an artist, kids even, or adults, who would like to enter, to submit their work to be part of our exhibits, please give them our website. And we not only have an annual jury exhibit, we have in between exhibits, entree exhibits. Right now we have one in Basking Ridge and the Farmstead Art Center, which is a preserved, farmhouse from the 1700s on a couple of acres on the Passaic River. Beautiful place, beautiful show. So please make an effort to come to our annual exhibits and our entree exhibits, take the postcard, and tell everybody about it. Thank you.